Welcome to Code Mantra's Accessibility Insight interview series. I'm Barry Beeler, Senior Vice President of Strategic Alliances at Code Mantra, and your host for today's session. Jason McKee is a writer and public speaker whose key focus is digital inclusion and the need for a truly accessible web. He is the co-founder of Accessibility Shield and previously worked as a journalist. Joining Jason today is my colleague Ian Smith, who is our Director of Accessibility Solutions and Services at Code Mantra. Thank you both for joining me today for our Accessibility Insight interview series focused on website versus document accessibility. So gentlemen, the first topic I want to talk about is kind of educating the market about accessibility. You know, with estimates of only 1% of websites and documents being accessible, how can you as a leader in this accessibility market educate our industry, our prospects, our customers on the need to remediate their websites and documents on a consistent and ongoing basis? So first, Jason, I'm going to ask you this question. You know, how do you educate the market overall, but also your customers and prospects about what accessibility is?
Well, that is the challenge, isn't it? It's something that's required throughout large portions of the globe, and yet you just don't see it being practiced anywhere. That's the challenge, and that's one of the reasons why I do it. I enjoy that challenge, and I enjoy the opportunity to educate people, because when I was educated on it, it was a moment where I watched an individual who was disabled navigate the web. And I saw technology that I didn't know existed, and I saw frustrations that I had no idea would be there for these individuals. And that was the moment that really opened my eyes. And people in my industry, they all have that type of moment. They all have that day where they're like, this is when I really got it. And for me, it was life-changing. For me and my partners, we started a company and changed what we did for a living. So it was monumental, and it's exciting. So the challenge is to educate the audience and give them that moment. Let them know what accessibility really is before you start telling them they have to do it. It's a requirement. Is it expensive? All these other questions are to come out. The first thing we want to do is educate on what it really is. And when you can do that, it becomes less of a technical thing and more of a human thing, more of a social thing, more of a thing about progression in society and the equity and fairness and inclusion and all these great things that the world is fighting for every day. And that's what we talk about. So we don't talk about HTML. We don't talk about fines and regulations. We talk about human beings accessing information. That's what accessibility is all about. And that's our message when we go out to educate.
And so, Ian, I mean, given what Jason is saying about kind of educating the world in general and making sure everybody understand what inclusion is all about, I mean, how do you go about educating prospects and customers and the market in general?
Yeah, no, it's very much like Jason had mentioned. You know, he talked about getting them to understand what it is, and I'll do that, but I go also to try and explain the impact of it. I typically present, you know, some sort of visualization that helps these people understand just that, the impact. They hear accessibility, they maybe hear why they should do it, and so on and so forth. But until they actually kind of see what that impact is, a non-compliant document or a non-compliant site, like Jason said, experiencing someone actually navigating a site or a document, they need to be able to navigate it. Just like we navigate looking through content, they need to be able to do so as well with their assistive technology. And, you know, until someone actually understands the impact a non-compliant document has on that experience, that's, I think, when the light bulb goes off. Once they do understand just how bad it is when a site or a document is non-compliant, it really changes their thinking about it. Then, as Jason said, it becomes more of a personal, wow, I had no idea that's the experience they would have. So yeah, we really need to fix this problem, right? So it's really articulating the impact more than what, or the HTML and the nuances that Jason also did.